Every menu says curry. You pick one, expecting a certain taste, a familiar warmth. But this single word, curry, is actually a giant cover-up. It's not one dish at all. It's not even a true Indian term for food. It's a culinary ghost story, a word with hidden roots and a surprising journey across continents. And what started as a colonial shortcut soon exploded. That one word traveled the globe, from Britain to the Caribbean to Southeast Asia. And that is the exact reason why every curry you eat tastes so different. They were never supposed to be the same thing in the first place. Number 1. Green curry. Let's start in Thailand, home to some of the world's most vibrant food. Thai curries are in a league of their own, mostly because they start with a fresh paste instead of a dry powder, and are almost always built around creamy coconut milk. Green curry gets its name and its incredible bright green color from one key ingredient: fresh green chilies. But don't let that fool you, it's not just pure heat. The rich coconut milk perfectly balances everything out, making the sauce both spicy and slightly sweet. The real magic is in that paste. It's a powerful blend of ingredients like lemongrass, kaffir lime leaves, ginger, and garlic, all pounded together. This creates a base that's just bursting with fresh, intense flavor. Poured over a bed of rice, it's a Thai classic for a reason. But while this curry relies on a wet paste, our next one is all about dry spices. Number 2. Katsu curry. Now let's head over to Japan for a completely different style. Japanese katsu curry is all about the perfect combination of two things: a crispy fried cutlet and a thick, savory sauce. The katsu is usually a pork cutlet that's been breaded and fried until it's perfectly golden and crunchy. It's served over a bed of rice, then smothered in that signature curry. And that sauce is what really sets it apart. It's dark, rich, and almost like a gravy. That's because it's often thickened with a roux, a mix of butter and flour, which is a classic Western cooking technique. This influence is also why you'll find ready-made curry blocks in Japan, making this hearty meal incredibly easy to whip up at home. It's a delicious fusion of East and West, but our next curry comes from a country you might not expect at all. Number 3. Curry goat. For this one, we're heading to the Caribbean, where curry tells a story about history. This dish got its start when Indian workers brought their cooking traditions to the islands. The heart of it is a rich spice blend you'd recognize from Indian cooking. Lots of turmeric, cumin, and coriander. But what makes it uniquely Caribbean is the African influence. We're talking about the fiery heat from Scotch bonnet peppers, which adds a signature kick you won't find anywhere else. And then there's the goat meat itself. It's slow cooked for hours until it's incredibly tender and just falls off the bone, soaking up all of that aromatic sauce. It's a hearty, warming stew that's an absolute staple at celebrations and big family gatherings. And this curry is a beautiful fusion of cultures. But our next dish comes from the country that actually invented the word curry as we know it today. Number 4. Laksa curry. Now, the word curry might have started in India, but the idea itself traveled. And when it hit Southeast Asia, it turned into something completely different, especially in Malaysia and Singapore. This isn't a stew served over rice, it's a huge, fragrant bowl of noodle soup. The heart of laksa is its broth, made from a blended spice paste and rich coconut milk. The flavor is a total explosion. Spicy, savory, and often with a sharp, sour kick that makes it incredibly addictive. It's packed with noodles, tofu puffs, and seafood or chicken, and there's no single recipe. Some versions are creamy and mild, while others are tangy and fish-based, showing just how diverse one dish can be. But while this curry is a soup you slurp, our next one is so thick and rich it's practically a stew. Number 5. Rendang. From Indonesia, we get a dish where patience is the most important ingredient. Rendang completely flips the idea of a saucy curry on its head. Instead of a liquid broth, this is what's known as a dry curry. It's made by simmering beef for hours in coconut milk and a rich blend of spices. But here's the key. You don't stop when the meat is tender. You keep cooking, letting all that liquid slowly evaporate until the spices caramelize and cling directly to every piece of meat. The result is incredibly rich and savory, with tender beef coated in a thick, dark, and intensely fragrant paste. It's not about the sauce, it's about packing all that incredible flavor directly into the meat itself. This masterpiece takes hours to perfect, but our next dish is the complete opposite, a national obsession you can grab in a hurry. Number 6. Chicken curry. For many people, this is the dish that comes to mind when you hear the word curry. A classic Indian chicken curry often starts with the essentials: onion, ginger, and garlic, sizzled in oil or ghee to build a fragrant base. And funnily enough, two of its most famous ingredients today, tomatoes and chili peppers, were actually brought over from the Americas by Portuguese traders centuries ago. But here's the crucial part. There is no single authentic chicken curry. It's a massive category of dishes. A korma, for example, is famously mild and creamy, using a yogurt base and warm spices like garam masala. A Madras curry, however, is a spicy, tomato-based version that gets its deep red color and fiery kick from chili powder. From the spices used to the choice of a creamy or tangy base, it completely changes from one region to the next. This shows just how diverse curry is inside India. But our next dish proves what happens when one of those styles travels halfway around the world. Number 7. Burmese chicken curry. Just across the border from India and Myanmar, you'll find a curry that plays by its own rules. Forget the fiery heat you might expect. Burmese chicken curry is much more subtle and savory. The real signature here is the oil. A good one will have a layer of fragrant reddish oil that separates and rises to the top. That's the sign of a perfectly slow-cooked dish. Instead of a thick, creamy base, it relies on a foundation of onions cooked down until they practically melt, along with ginger, garlic, and turmeric. This creates a rich, mellow flavor that's salty and a little bit sweet. It's a perfect example of how a country can borrow an idea and make it completely their own. But while this dish is a beloved staple in homes across Myanmar, our next curry is a global superstar with a very surprising origin story. Number 8. Curry chicken. If you grew up in Britain or North America, this is probably the curry you know best. It's the one you get from a local takeaway, and it tastes completely different from a traditional Indian dish for a good reason. This version was simplified and adapted specifically for Western palates. It's much milder, often a little bit sweet, and has a signature thick, smooth gravy. That texture often comes from using commercial curry powder and thickening the sauce with flour and butter, a technique more common in European cooking. British colonials basically created the general idea of curry to lump together many different Indian dishes. Because the term was so broad, it was easy to reinvent it into something new, creating a comfort food classic that's now famous worldwide. But while this dish was designed to be mild, our next curry is famous for its fiery, complex heat. Number 9. Balti curry. If you're looking for a curry that's packed with fresh, intense flavor, this is it. But the story behind it might surprise you. This dish wasn't born in India or Pakistan, but in Birmingham, England, during the 1970s. The secret is in the name. A balti is the pan it's cooked in, a thin, steel, wok-like bowl. Chefs use a high flame to cook everything incredibly fast, almost like a stir-fry. Because it's cooked so quickly, the flavors stay bright and distinct, instead of melting together in a heavy, slow-cooked sauce. It's even served sizzling right in the balti bowl, ready to be scooped up with a huge piece of naan bread. It's a true British Asian invention, but while the balti was created in a restaurant, our final dish is a national symbol. Number 10. Fish amok. For our final dish, we're heading to Cambodia to talk about a true national treasure. And this one completely redefines what a curry can be. Forget stews or soups. Fish amok has a delicate, almost mousse-like texture. The secret is how it's cooked. It's steamed, traditionally inside a bowl made from banana leaves. This gentle process turns the fish and rich coconut milk into something incredibly light, almost like a savory custard. The flavor is elegant and aromatic, built on a fragrant paste of galangal, turmeric, and kaffir lime. It's not about fiery heat, but a perfect balance of subtle spices. It's an amazing dish to end on, proving that the word curry is just the start of a story that spans the entire globe. Number 11. Butter chicken. If there's one Indian dish that has truly taken over the world, this is probably it. And what's surprising is that it's not some ancient recipe passed down for centuries. Butter chicken was actually invented in Delhi in the mid-20th century. Its success comes down to its incredibly rich and creamy tomato-based sauce. It's mild, silky smooth, and gets its signature flavor from a generous amount of, you guessed it, butter and cream. This isn't about complex, fiery spices. Instead, it's the ultimate comfort food. And it's often the first dish people try when they're new to Indian cuisine. It's a perfect introduction for a reason.